Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. In this video, I go through the Squadron 42 monthly report, letting you know exactly what is going on with SQ42. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. If you do enjoy my content and would like to help support this channel even further, it is all very much appreciated. Follow the link in my description below. So, kicking off with AI as usual, all alphabetical. They spent the month making progress with combat behaviours, specifically on the assault and hold position tactics. They've improved the reservation manager system, in which the AI will reserve a specific volume of space, like an area, and then retain the knowledge of where that AI wants to go. I assume this means controlling areas of wherever they are, a ship, on the ground, and so forth. They began adjusting the AI system to accommodate server meshing. The main requirement for this is to split the responsibility of the different systems by server so that the networking team can correctly test and identify problems as soon as possible. Now, this sounds very interesting. Firstly, it's excellent news that they are working on server meshing, but I think it's more of a fail-safe, so if something goes wrong with a particular system, they know exactly where to look, which will save time. They're tweaking the navigation system to better support the object container streaming level design workflow, along with a lot of routine code cleanup to ensure that the ever-growing codebase is as efficient and readable as possible. The ship AI team completed the first iteration of the full 3D navigation system for NPC ships. The system is currently with QA for testing before being integrated into Alpha 3.9, which is coming at the end of this month. This is an important step, they say, as it offers new opportunities to implement more diverse missions, not limited to open space environments. Now, this is very cool for some in-atmosphere dogfighting, maybe, or even chasing a bounty planet side. Also, hopefully we'll just see ships flying around the environments. They were able to remove the current speed limits of AI ships as well. Apparently they were capped to the combat maneuvering speeds. They can now set their own speeds according to the desired relative goal velocity. Now, as I say, I never realised they were actually limited to SEM speeds, so this should give them a little more option when engaging or running. The social AI team continued polishing vendor behaviour, readying it for use in the bar setups and shops. Last month's focus was on preparing and delivering drinks and cocktails, which will define the pipeline for future social environment work in the PU. I guess once they've hooked it up for one type, like the bartender, they can transfer a lot of that information over to other types, like weapon vendors, kiosks, and those sort of things, saving a lot of time. Currently, they say the vendor can pick up and deliver anything that already exists in the world, such as bottles of beer, or preparing a cocktail. They'll also work on the social behaviours for things like fitness and janitor activities. Now, I believe by fitness they just mean seeing your fellow crewmates using a treadmill while off duty, as this is Squadron 42 information, but this leverages the path scripting functionality, which will use the environment to define the AI's possible options, such as cleaning or patrolling, and can be used to simplify the scripting of story scenes. So it's just giving all the AI options to use different objects around them that makes sense to whatever role they've been given. Anyway, for character art, the focus was on hair, uniforms, and quality. They completed 2 new hairstyles, including that of the Captain Noah White. They are extremely pleased with the results of the hair and are currently working on blonde hair, investigating how it behaves with the current shader. Next on the list, they say, are the battle dress uniforms, which are expected to take a couple of months to complete in their entirety. We've got to see a couple of images of Mark Hamill's character. I assume this is probably the new updated hair, but we don't know this. Anyway, on cinematics, they spoke about how important it is to create the cinematics in real time rather than the more traditional pre-baked scenes, as this will allow them to maintain authenticity and immersion in Squadron. Cinematics has pushed one of the most challenging sequences through its second pass, locking down the timing before starting visual effects and destruction simulation, whatever that might involve. The updated track view sequencer tool was completed as well, which allowed for the team to edit the long epic sequences in real time. So for engineering, the team have worked on physics threading and performance, continuing concurrent immediate queuing for physics, implementing local command queues, and adding an option to create queues on demand. Do make of that what you will. If someone can translate that, I would very much appreciate it. They began finalizing and integrating the new signed distance field system, or SDF, to accelerate collision checks on complex geometry and increase the precision of results. They have done a lot of optimization work on many areas like object containers and signed distance field sizes, plus they brought the 64-bit precision support for foliage, whatever that is, and continued to work on death reaction animations and provided support for actor ragdoll body dragging. Animation code was also amended to ensure ragdolls work with ground alignment. They've done a lot of work on the Gen 12 renderer and Vulkan, refactored the texture creation process and added MSAA support. The first improvement pass on Hair AO was made, which is now coupled with color, and die shaftness support was introduced. And finally, ocean shader improvements were made and planet terrain was iterated on to support the rendering of large ground-based objects on the height and shadow maps. Now, there's a lot of information in the engineering section. A lot of it doesn't make any sense to me. I do wish they would dumb some of these things down rather than assuming everyone knows what they're talking about, but that's just me. Anyway, on to gameplay story. The team had a busy and productive month, completing many scenes and updating others. Graphics team completed crucial work on the Gen 12 and Vulkan renderer, converting the tiled lighting and dynamic geometry systems to the new rendering paradigm, and made various improvements to the automated testing system, which is necessary to ensuring stability for the designers and artists. The level design team continued working on the narrative sequences and the abandon function, which I believe involves leaving a cutscene whenever you want and then returning to it whenever you want. Currently, they say the focus is on early full chapter playthroughs that introduce the player to the life of a UEE Navy pilot. So it sounds like much of it is completed to some degree if they are able to have full playthrough of scenes. The level design teams are actually working with the FPS AI feature team to place and refine AI behaviors, with one main aim to have NPCs behave realistically regardless of the environment they're placed in. The game's levels are designed to be architecturally believable spaces, so the AI need to adapt to them in believable ways. And finally, the dogfighting team are working with the flight AI to refine scenarios that require custom engineering support. The narrative team are reviewing the latest level progress and overseeing a female character mocap session. They reviewed the smaller NPC conversations with the gameplay story team to ensure they are as believable as possible as well. Tech animation improved visuals for character loadouts. They're adding engine loadouts to Maya to enable the animators to complete their polish pass on the same loadouts the characters will wear in-game. Several new weapons have actually reached tech animation, while the social AI team was supported with the new usables for sitting, standing, exercise spots, and bartenders. The tech art have implemented C++ into the backend for performance and efficiency, and all 120 human face rigs will soon be ported over to the new face rig with the runtime logic system. I hope my face is one of those 120. It would be interesting to see what's happened to that. The UI have finalized visuals for the Inner Thought radial system, and after a lot of concepting and AI design, the new Squadron 42 specific visor and visual target were improved. It would be amazing to see what they look like. The visual effects team tweaked several existing background effects and are now taking advantage of recent improvements to the particle system. They began investigating further methods of triggering particle effects through gas cloud tech. The team also worked to lock down on the final list of features required for Squadron 42. This includes fixing long-standing bugs on the GPU system, including inconsistencies with parent-child spawning for more complex effects. This was tested with firework visual effects that pushed the system to its limits and helped uncover previously unknown bugs. Anyway, that is it for the Squadron 42 update. Not the most enthralling report, but it does sound like they are making great progress with getting some things in a state for review. Unfortunately, there are no juicy images demonstrating what I'm really talking about here, most likely as they want to keep everything behind closed doors. Anyway, with that said, make sure you hit subscribe for more Star Citizen content. I will be covering the PU monthly report very shortly. Hit that notification bell so you know when my videos go live, and hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy my content. Follow me over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers, where we hang out together and chat all things Star Citizen. Thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.